How's it going, y'all? Just broadcasting from work right now. So you guys know, I'm actually a security guard right now. It's so slow. That's one thing I like about the night shift. We're about to get Jacob on here pretty soon, and hopefully we'll start a good discussion. So until then, just type any questions you want to ask me, and we'll get started in just a few minutes. Today's topic is going to be which God of the Bible is more violent, the one of the Old Testament or the one of the New Testament? And why should we worship a God who's supposedly all loving but has killed literally millions of people? Oh my God, I got Matt Adams. We got our local celebrity in the group. This should be a good broadcast. Just wait for Jacob to get on. I sent him an invite, so hopefully he'll be on soon. If you all have any questions until he gets on, let me know. Adams, you have questions for me? I'll be right back. Any questions? Hey man, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes or no?
Yes.
So how's it going? It's been a while, man.
Yeah, it has.
Whew. I'm just working my shift right now, so I have like nothing to do.
All right.
So we got about an hour until my next round that I have to do. So whatever you definitely seem more educated on this topic than I do. So your input is definitely a valued contribution to this series.
Well, for one thing, I'm not at my house right now either.
Well, I can tell you're in the car,
So,
right?
it's parked somewhere. I'm just in here charging my phone using Bluetooth, so that way I can charge it
Don't
while,
be don't be smoking too much weed while you're doing that.
well, I don't smoke it to begin with.
Well, that's a good thing. I've been sober from the weed for about a year now. So
All right, so just give me 1 second.
yeah, no problem. Take your time. Like I said, I got about an hour until my next round.
I want you to go to Luke chapter
Do you have a
19.
website? Because I don't have it with me. I'm just on my laptop.
You can go to either Bible Hub or Bible Gateway. Doesn't matter.
Is Bible Hub like Pornhub for Bible people?
No, it's a website that you can access Bible verses.
No, I was just fucking with you.
Now that I think about it, it does sound like Pornhub, but that's not.
And
But that's not
apparently,
what I'm. It rhymes, but that's not what I mean.
no. I was just fucking with you. And we had Matt Adams
Yeah.
on here for a while. I'm not sure if he's still watching. He's like a celebrity in our group. In the wrong
Oh,
time.
I see.
So what should I look? Okay, so I got the website up. Okay, so what should I go for?
So Luke chapter 10.
Okay, give me 1 second. Leviticus, Jeremiah, Luke. Oh, I like this. You can just skip right to the. You know, I might use this more than my actual book.
Yeah, it's easy and simple.
And what was it? So I'm at Luke, and it's like one dash one colon one. You said 10,
Not 19.
19.
Chapter 19.
What version?
Doesn't matter. Verses 11 to 27.
Okay, hold on. What are you looking for specifically?
So I want you to read the verses 11 to 27 in Luke chapter 19.
Okay, just give me a second. I'm still learning how to work this website
All right.
because I see like Luke 1:26 where it says, "In the 6 months, God sent angel Gabriel to the town of Galilee called Nazareth." But that's like a cross reference. So hold on. What was the other website? Let me see if that's easier.
Bible Gateway. What you can simply, it might be easier there because it'll allow you to read all the verses at once,
Yeah, that's
not
what we're
going one
trying
at a
to.
time.
Okay, so you said Luke
Chapter 19,
chapter 19.
verses, verses 11 and 27.
I'll just put Luke chapter 19. Okay, how come it has 0 results? Okay, this website sucks. Oh, passage lookup. So, like, when it says Genesis 1 colon 1, so should I put Luke 1 colon 19? How should I do that?
You know what? Instead of just doing that there, just type Luke chapter 19 on the internet. Or just search it.
So, Luke chapter 19.
Yeah. And uh, then put verses 11 to 27. And then click on the Bible Gateway result.
Yep, that was the first one.
All right,
Okay.
click on it and read the verses.
So, you want me to start at the beginning?
11 to 27.
Actually, let's wait until we actually have people watch. Let's try to wait until we have. Do we have anybody watching right now? It says we have 0.
I got one on my end.
I just got one too. Okay, so the parable of the 10 minas. While they were listening to this, he went on to the parable because he was Jerusalem, and the people thought that the kingdom of God was going to appear at once. He said, "A man of noble birth went to the distant country to have himself appointed king, and then to return. So he called 10 of his servants and gave them 10 minas. Put this money to work until I come back." But his subjects hated him and sent delegations after him to say, "We don't want this man to be king." He was made our king, however, and returned home. Then he sent for his servants to whom he had given the money, in order to find out what they had gained. They first came. The first one came and said, "Sir, your mana has earned 10 more." "Well done, my servant," he replied, "because you have been trustworthy at a very small center. Take charge of these 10 cities." The second came. Hold on, I just lost my place. The second came and said, "Sir, your mana has earned 5 more. Your mina has earned 5 more." His master answered, "You take charge of 5 cities." This is another sir said, "Sir, here is your mina. I have kept it laid you away in a piece of cloth. I was afraid of you, because you are a hard man. You take it out on what you did not put in, and you reap what you did not sow." How long did you want me to keep going?
27.
27, okay. His master replied, I will judge you by your own words, you wicked servant. You knew, you did you, and I am a hard man, and that I'm a hard man, taking out what I did not put in, and reaping what you sow. Why then did you put money back on the deposit, so that when I came back I could have it collected it with interest? Then he said to those standing, take this mina away from him and give it to one who has 10 minas. Sir, they said, he's already had 10. He replied, I tell you, to everyone who has, more will be given. But uh, as for those who have nothing, even when they have been taken away, but they're enemies of mine, who did not want me to be king forever, bring them here and kill them in front of me. I'm assuming that's the last part is what you wanted me to read.
Yeah, that's so basically I wanted you to read the verses surrounding it and what led up to that command to slaughter. Now,
So I'm assuming
what Chris? Yes, you're right.
minas is like money, right?
Pretty much. So, Christians like to say that all the violence was in the Old Testament, but it's not in the New Testament. Because under the New Testament, they're in a new covenant. They no longer have to worry about the Ten Commandments and all the other violence and misogyny that took place in the Old Testament. That verse that you just read is a fine example of how much that's wrong that is.
So I
Because
mean,
it's,
I only read it once, but from what I gathered from it is he basically wanted to kill those people that didn't bring him money. Is that correct?
you could put it that way. Another way you could put it is that they didn't listen to his commands, disobedience. So,
So in like Game of
the
Thrones,
thing,
I've actually been watching Game of Thrones right now. Uh, I'm not sure. Have you watched Game of Thrones before?
I think I watched like one episode like over a year ago.
You should really check it out because it's actually a really good series about loyalty and masters and all that good stuff. But it's like if you don't follow your lord's orders or if you don't follow your king's orders, you're gonna get killed. No matter how good you've been up to that point, if you fail to follow one order, you're gonna get killed.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what's going on in those verses.
Exactly, because he was saying like, I don't know, the wording was kind of weird, but it's saying like, if you don't have the money for me, then I'm gonna give it to somebody else, and I'm gonna kill you. Is that kind of how it goes?
You could put it that way, but the point is that the primary point is that there's a command to slaughter.
Yeah, that's what I got from the last verse. Like, really, all you had to read is, to be honest, like if you just read the last like 4 verses, you would get the whole point.
Yeah.
So, it is funny that you point this out because Christians are always like, well, the Old Testament, most of us don't follow that anyway. God was a dick in the Old Testament. He killed lots of people. You got Noah and shit like that. And then right
Right.
here, actually one of my assignments for myself is I'm working on reading through the Bible. And trust me, I've read a fair amount of books in my life, and reading through that shit is like, I feel like I'm in 10th grade reading through a fucking book assignment. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather read, like, I'm reading Game of Thrones right now in the book, and I'm reading some books on the universe and shit. Have you heard about the black hole that was just photographed?
Yeah, that orange thing with a black in the middle. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, well, I'm actually getting 2 different books. One is a book by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, and the other book I'm reading, I think it's called, I don't have it on me right now. I think it's called, like, This Is Our Universe by Neil deGrasse Tyson. And then the other book is one by Stephen Hawking that I'm reading about the universe as well. And so far, the way they explain how things work, it makes so much more sense than reading the Bible, the Quran. These religious books, they say like, oh God, I remember we had one conversation before, like, okay, so God created the earth before he created the sun. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
You know what I
How
mean?
could because how could days pass if there's no sun, and yet there are days that are passing according to the book of
Exactly.
Genesis
How can you
when the
have
sun's
days and
created?
how can you have days and nights without the sun or moon?
Right, that wouldn't make any sense. Also, the moon was supposed to reflect the sun's light, so in the
Right.
end, you
I
still
mean,
wouldn't
it
see
does.
anything.
It does reflect the. Even though the sun is down, given your point on the globe,
Right,
when the sun is down, the moon is still reflecting a certain amount of its light, and that's what makes the moon appear to be the brightest heavenly body we have in the sky, because the moon itself
right,
does not give off any light.
right,
It all comes from the sun. So,
right.
but
But yeah, the point is, no, you finish.
no,
I'll
I
continue
was
from there.
finished. I was letting you continue.
All right, so the primary point is the violence that's in the Old Testament is still well in the New Testament, and as I've said in the past, the God of the New Testament can be arguably seen as a worse and more hateful God than the God seen in the Old Testament and in Judaism. Because not only do you have the violence still there, but you also have original sin, which is not taught in Judaism, and then you have
Original sin to
hell.
original sin to me is more of a stupid concept than hell could ever be. Like, as at least hell I can understand. It's like, okay, if you do something fucked up, you go to hell. You know what I mean?
Right,
But with original sin, I'm glad you mentioned this. It's like, if your dad, if he committed a murder but he was killed, why should you suffer the punishment for what he did?
right.
I mean, you're innocent. Just because he's in your family doesn't mean you didn't do shit. You could be going to college and getting a degree in nursing, or becoming a doctor, becoming a whatever. Why should you suffer what your father did when you have nothing to do with it?
Yeah,
That's one of the biggest things when I first heard about the Bible that got me pissed off and made me an atheist. Is original sin was the stupidest fucking idea I've ever heard.
yeah. It's originally when the Christianity first started out, they didn't have an Old Testament. They had a New Testament. I mean, it wasn't even
But
called that at the time anyway. And later, as the religion evolved, the Old Testament and the New Testament were bundled together into what we call the Bible now. Because even in the New Testament, it references the God of Judaism and the God what Christians would later call the Old Testament. So because of those things and more reasons, they were understood to be the same God by the Christian doctrine. So that's why they bundled it up together into a Bible. And the Old Testament was actually based on the Septuagint, which is the Greek version of the Hebrew Bible.
right,
And that's why you can actually compare the Septuagint to the Gospels, and you'll see the Gospels are quoting the Greek version of the text because the mistranslation, for example, in Isaiah 7:14, that Christians use to say that Jesus was prophesied is that the idea that Emmanuel is born of a virgin, which is quoted by Matthew in the Gospels. Now,
okay. So, do you want to? Can you see Lori's comment?
yeah, I saw it. He
Do you want
he's
to?
trying to say he's what was that?
I would say, do you want to just reply to that?
I guess I can. He says there's only one God. God in the OT is the same God in the NT, and he is not violent.
I gotta say, he's one of the stupidest people I've ever seen in this group.
I mean, okay. This is all I have. This is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, you're more educated. Like, I was trying to make this series, honestly, just to mock Christians and how many of their viewpoints are so easily contradicted or just plain out falsified. But you actually, it seems like you actually have done research on this. So explain to Lori what your viewpoint on this is.
I'm going to start by asking you to look up Exodus chapter 15, verse 3.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on one second.
Yeah, because I want to accentuate the point here.
So I'm still on Bible Gateway.
That's fine. You can use the same website to get to the book of Exodus chapter 15, verse 3.
Exodus chapter, what was it?
15.
Chapter 15.
Verse 3.
See, because you know actual verses, I just know the summary. Like, I've been to church a couple of times. I've browsed to the. Why is it saying no results? Come on, you stupid piece.
Oh, trust me, that website has every book of the Bible in there and more. So,
Maybe I'm just looking
here's the.
at.
Yeah, that's fine. You probably want to search it the same way you searched Luke earlier.
Yeah,
So that way,
I'll just do that because I don't know what. Yeah, Exodus. What was it? Exodus.
15, verse 3. Chapter 15, verse 3. In the meantime, I'm going to say that preachers, priests, or whatever, in a church are not going to bring these verses up to you. They
Yeah,
skip
it's
over them.
funny you say that because preachers will only bring up the positive verses.
Yeah.
Like, God is great. Like, He'll forgive your sins. Blah blah blah.
Everybody says that about their God. That's what Christians don't understand. Everybody praises their God. They say that their God does good things for you.
Okay,
He's great.
so I think I found it. I'm not sure if this is correct. You can correct
Chapter
me.
15, verse 3, correct?
The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Is that
That is
correct?
correct, yes.
That sounds very violent to me.
This is a phrase that tells people that God is war, a man of war, or a God of war. You can put it in
I
any
remember
way
you
you want.
saying about the great God of war, Ares. Is that what you were?
Oh yeah, Aries. I talk about him a lot in my past videos, going back to
Did you ever play
early last year.
Did you ever play the God of War series on PlayStation?
I've heard of it. I've never played it.
You should play through it. I think you'd like it, and I think you would actually get something from it.
I probably will check it out sometime.
It's very violent, but I think you would like it, especially, and I think it would help you when you're more of your debates too.
Well, when I get around to it, I'll eventually check it out. Anyway,
Go ahead.
okay. So we got him being called a man of war. He starts Noah's flood. He exiles Adam and Eve. And when Moses comes down from Mount Sinai, you know the calf story, the
The
golden
what?
calf,
No,
the
I'm
golden
not.
calf.
I'm not familiar with that.
All right, I do not remember exactly where in the book of Exodus it talks about this. So you're going to have to look up a particular phrase. Look up Moses kills 3,000 of one another, orders the death of 3,000 of one another. Look that
Sir,
up.
hold on. Give me a second.
The internet should be able to figure out which verse that is.
What was
And
it?
Moses orders the Israelites to kill 3,000 of each other. What you're about to read says that because Moses returned from Mount Sinai and saw the Israelites worshiping a golden calf.
Are they called Canaanites?
No, that Canaanite thing hasn't happened yet until later of Elijah in the game.
Moses orders Israelites to kill 3,000
of each other.
of each other.
All right, hit it.
Let's see what we get. Oh, the golden calf. Is that what I want?
Yeah.
Okay, so according to the office of the Bible, the golden calf was an idol made by the Israelites during Moses' absence. When he went out to Mount Sinai in Hebrew, the incident is known as Hijat Gilgal, whatever, the sin of the calf. It is first mentioned in Exodus 32-4. Bull worship was common in many cultures.
All right. Go to Exodus chapter 42, verse 4.
I'm on Wikipedia right now, so it's actually pretty easy.
All right. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
I'm here. I'll wait. Are you? I hope you're not driving right now.
Exodus chapter 42, verse 28. No, I'm parked.
Sorry, what was the verse?
I was just going through the Exodus chapter 42, verse 28.
Let me do. Actually, just Googling it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, because going through the pages can be a bitch.
Yeah, and I don't have my book with me right now because, like I said, I'm at work, so I left all my books at home. Sorry, what was the chapter?
Chapter 42, verse 28.
Oh, this already sounds like it's going to be bad.
Oh, yeah, it's supposed to be.
Exodus 32-35. Why is this so annoying? Bible Hub, you fucking suck. Okay, so does this sound correct to you? The Leviticus did as Moses commanded, and at that day about 3,000 of the people died.
Yes. I'm going to tell you what happened before that verse.
Can I
So we
say
go back
one
a
thing?
few.
Can I say,
Yeah. Yeah.
you remember 9/11, right?
Yeah, I do.
That was about 3,000 people dead.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds
Yeah.
this.
You,
I just thought of this, but this reminds me like if somebody's gonna say, "Oh, only 3,000 people," who gives a shit? How many people got pissed off on 9/11?
a lot.
Probably 99% of our country got pissed off, and that was about 3,000 people.
Yeah.
I just thought of that, but continue.
Okay, so Moses sees the Israelites worshiping the golden calf. Now, Moses gets mad, orders the Jews to kill 3,000 of each other because they have committed sin.
What was the sin?
Worshipping an idol. Remember in the Ten Commandments it says,
Oh, you can't
you may not
worship.
make an idol. Yeah,
No worshiping false idols.
right. God, everyone's known as gods.
So I'm gonna let you know. I have about 5 more minutes until I have to do my next round. So do you want to do like a summary, and then I'll post this to the website and see what we get for responses?
Yeah, all right. So summary is
Sorry,
violence in the New Testament.
sorry to
The
end this.
summary,
Sorry to end this quickly. I'm just at work right now, so I do have responsibilities.
it's good. So, violence in the New Testament, showing how the God of the New Testament is not entirely more moral than the God of the Old Testament, but is actually far more immoral than the God of the Old Testament. Not only does it continue the violence of the God of the Old Testament, it also adds original sin and also an afterlife in which you could either be punished for eternity or you could go to heaven forever.
So basically, what you're saying is a lot of Christians who claim they don't follow the Old Testament anymore because they don't agree with the violence of that God, but now they only follow the New Testament and they say He is a God. What's the word I'm looking for?
A God of love and peace.
Yes, thank you. A God. He's a God of love and peace. What you just pointed out, mainly, I would say, not even including the verses, the specific verses you pointed out, but the two main points of original sin, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. Why should I be punished? Let's say Adam and Eve were real people. Let's just say they were real people, and Eve took the forbidden fruit from the tree, and she committed
Yeah,
a sin, the original sin. Why should I? When I was born a baby, I'm 30 years old right now.
right,
Why, when I was a baby at 30 years old, when I have not done nothing, I have not raped, robbed, stealed, killed, anything like that, and I still haven't done that, and I'm 30 years old. Why should
right,
I? Why should I be considered that I'm a sinful person? It makes no sense. And then
right,
the other point to that is, why should I be sent to hell for something I haven't done? Just
right,
because just because I don't believe in your God.
right.
I
I'm
think
also
that,
going to add,
yeah, go ahead.
that guy just created Adam and Eve. They're like a baby. And you can't possibly expect them to immediately understand obedience. Of course, they made a mistake.
Right. And then you sent them to everlasting hell, and you think you're a beloved of God?
Yeah, they, 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 they got exiled. If anything, he should have just taught them a lesson without exiling them.
Right, you gotta be like, okay, you fucked up. Um, I'm gonna take away this, I'll take away, I don't know. I'll take away your beautiful your sexuality. Maybe I'll take away your penis and vagina or something like that. I have no idea. But to sentence them immediately to everlasting hell, that's like that's like you stealing a loaf of bread and going to prison for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So, that being said, do you want to continue this later today?
Probably not today. What's your schedule like tomorrow?
I'm pretty clear tomorrow.
Okay, I'll text you whenever I'm ready. I'm glad to
Tomorrow,
be
that's not
fine. I'm glad. Honestly, I'm glad to be finally back on here. It's nice talking with you again. It's just like
the same here.
I've been crazy busy and going through some like medical shit. So I've just been like,
I'm sorry to hear that.
no, it's all good. It's all good now. But I've just been, it's been hard to get back in the mood to do broadcast. You know what I mean?
I understand.
So anything for the fans, or anything that you want to say before we leave?
Yeah, if anyone's interested into my research and into uh, your study of the Bible, they can always come friend us and message us, and we'll try to reply whenever we can.
Well, Jacob, I appreciate your services. Like you said, if anybody wants to continue with this series, hopefully we'll get more responses next time. I thought this would be a good time to broadcast right now. Um, Two people I'm looking forward to talking with are Matt Adams and what is his name? Charlie Haas or something like that. I'm sure you've heard of him. Charlie
I
Haas.
don't, I don't, I don't know.
He's the guy that like always broadcasts because he's a trucker.
Does he wear one earphone on his head and leaves the other one hanging out?
I don't know, but he's like a crazy Christian.
Does he talk? Is he the guy that talks about why God is justified in sending people to hell?
He he's the guy that will literally justify anything in the Bible, no matter how bad it is.
Might sound familiar. I don't know. Is he on? Um, I don't know. I'll look into it later.
Johnny Haas. You should be able to find him pretty easily.
All right.
If I could get those two in our one, I wish we could do more than one people in our broadcast. That'd be awesome.
There is there is a way to do it, but we're gonna have to do it for share screens
Okay, well,
on a computer system.
just message me later and we can figure that out.
All right.
So hopefully, if we can get me, you, and them on, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.